gádait rud ará chuoine gur sin na gcónaí. Is omí duine nár thógann de a bhéalach am dúnta is a chail mór an dá bhar.
Hi there, cinema lovers.
Welcome to FilmStorm.
The Quiet Girl, which is an adaptation of a novella by Claire Keegan entitled Foster, is not a film for lovers of fast-paced action or mindless entertainment. The words that best describe the tone of the production are subtle, lyrical, or subdued. Yet it manages to evoke a lot of emotions that awaken both in the audience and in the eponymous Quiet Girl.
The introduction to the film shows the natural, almost fairy tale-like beauty of Ireland, which accompanies us until the very end thanks to the amazing cinematography of Kate McCullough, known, for example, for her work on the recent series Normal People. In addition to the amazing shots, the opening sequence starts with a concert of bird voices, in which one, in particular, stands out, a cuckoo. This seems to be a foreshadowing of the events that follow. The cuckoo's call sounds in the background while the main character lies in the thicket in the fetal position, almost like a bird's egg that she will in a way soon become. Kite, as she is called, is a withdrawn, apathetic girl who accepts the dull, pathological reality surrounding her in silence. Whenever she can, she runs away from the people at home who neglect her or from the school children who shun her, and that makes her even more withdrawn and maladjusted. As the cuckoo has already informed the observant viewers, Kite becomes a kind of cuckoo's egg for her large family. Her parents, like cuckoos, leave her to be raised on a farm by her aunt and uncle for the summer.
For Kite, who is usually hungry, dishevelled, and uncared for, her aunt and uncle's house gradually takes on the form of a fairy tale land, completely different from the pathological reality that she is used to. One might be tempted to make a comparison here with Alice in Wonderland. In fact, a slightly changed quote from Carol's book can be heard in a scene reminiscent of a Mad Hatter's Tea Party, and the seemingly circular story brings to mind Alice's stay in a rabbit hole. Seeing the juxtaposition of idealization with social problems, one might expect a similar story to the stories of Joyce Carol Oates, but in this film, normality itself is so foreign to Kate that it appears as something magical, and the film itself, once embedded in its subtlety, does not want to move from it, not even a single step. Frame by frame, it is getting closer and closer to the specific sensitivity that characterized another production from 4 years ago.
Exactly. The Quiet Girl follows a certain pattern of a niche hit, consciously or unconsciously taking its cue from another niche hit, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. What these two films have in common is a simple story with a basic trope. Here, the cuckoo's egg, which usually associated with something negative, paradoxically introduces many positive changes, and in Portrait of a Lady on Fire, an interpretation against the grain of the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. The second similarity between both films is the dominance of eloquent silence, gestures, glances, and even understatements. In The Quiet Girl, there are even scenes which are cut just before we get the answer. We are left to guess what and how things exactly happened. The third similarity is the picturesque nature of both films. You could freeze virtually any frame of the movie and hang it on the wall like a picture. Rural landscapes of Ireland from The Quiet Girl, or seaside vistas of coastal France from Portrait of a Lady on Fire. The fourth element connecting Portrait of a Lady on Fire with The Quiet Girl is the deployment of the main antagonistic forces at the two ends of the story. In Portrait of a Lady on Fire, these are men who appear only at the beginning and at the end, and in Quiet Girl, her pathological household in which we first meet Kite, and which at the end of the film she has to confront again.
The last link that stylistically connects both niche heats is the emphasized regionality, some kind of traditionality, and even hermetic nature of a given community. In Portrait of a Lady on Fire, we have the opportunity to observe an island which is inhabited by women only, as it seems. We can observe their customs and even something like a festival or gathering, or even a Sabbath, with a wonderful moment of all the gathered women singing a song which appears to vibrate in the air, creating a disturbing and magical suspense. Finally, the chant relaxes, falling into a trance of a repeated phrase. It's an incredibly atmospheric and memorable moment.
Interestingly, The Silent Girl abounds in signs of regionality or hermeticism, and they revolve around language. The film is shot in Irish, and the English language appears only sporadically, which creates a barrier, separates and isolates especially the speakers of the Celtic language, makes them carriers of a similar identity, while alienating the speakers of the English language and making them more common and crude. This is true especially for one character, whom we won't reveal here, because they have a special separating effect on the plot.
There is also a traditional Irish vigil for a dead body, a wake, which coincides in the narrative with a revelation about a completely different death, a different corpse, at which the mental vigil also slowly comes to an end, and the sign of which is a song, of course in Irish. While the song from Portrait of a Lady on Fire brought to mind a sense of sisterly solidarity and strength, the song from The Silent Girl expresses a subtle joy and readiness to open up to once forgotten happiness.
It is worth mentioning here that in both productions there is also a motif of a ghost, something more or less material which symbolizes a problem hanging over the main characters, which intensifies when they think they have achieved some kind of balance. In Portrait of a Lady on Fire, the balance is destroyed by the ghost of Eloise in a wedding dress, while in The Quiet Girl, the ghost is invisible but very much present in many material things and in the behavior of individual characters. As its presence becomes more tangible, the spirit shocks Kite, triggering an existential crisis that she mistakenly thought she had already resolved.
Kite's return to the feeling of insecurity and her changed attitude reminds us that everything can disappear in an instant, and so striving for a change for the better is much more beneficial than passively waiting for it, because it is inevitable and it will come sooner or later.
We also decided not to wait any longer and start our own channel about movies. We hope that you liked our pilot material and that you will give us a chance to create more FilmStorms. We invite you to be our patron, subscribe to the channel and comment on the videos. And may no FilmStorm
ever scare you.
Bye.